record. Okay. It's a new voice. I hadn't heard that voice before. So. Okay, I think we are ready to go. All right, so let's see if I can get this screen share to work. Just make sure that works. Right, got to find the right button here. Here it is. Okay, and we're screen sharing, so the webcams can be expanded by clicking on the 3x3 little dot matrix, and then you can stretch the webcams. Then you'll see everyone else who's on the call, staying in connection with them. Okay. All right. So, and if you could be on mute when you're not talking, otherwise we get a lot of background noise. Okay. So, I'm Nicolas David Ngan of the Centre for Conscious Ascension. Welcome to this free healing webinar, Becoming More Clear, Confident, and Empowered to Deliver Your Gift of Service to the World, which is why we were born. So, I'm saying this for the guys who are going to watch this later as well as you guys live, so I have to sort of find some compromise somewhere in the middle. So are you here to help the world? Well, I was, that's why I came here. But do you feel you're here to do something very special? I've been searching for that since I was a teenager. But doubt yourself because you're not quite sure what it is or how to go about doing it. So what we're going to do with this free group healing webinar is to gracefully accelerate the healing of low self-esteem, doubt, feelings of being not good enough. I had most of that in my life. So that you can feel more clear, confident, and empowered to deliver your gift of service to the world. So I'd like to hear from you guys, those who want to share, especially guys who've been brave enough to show themselves as what you'd like from this webinar. What brought you here and what you'd like from it, because we're setting collective intent, and the guys who aren't on video, you can just switch on the mic and talk, or just put it in the chat and I will read out your intent, because then every one of these is unique. It depends on what you say to me and how I feel the energy, which will determine how this whole thing unfolds. So if you want to speak, just wave at me. Yeah, okay. So can I just also say where you are as well?
Hi everyone, so my name is Sakina and currently I'm in London in the UK. So yeah, I was drawn here because I've actually done Divine Healing Level 1, and I've also done soul contract reading, so technically I am a practitioner, and that was 5 years ago, and I haven't done a single soul contract since then. So I've had a lot of obstacles in reaching where I need to be. So right now I'm going through some sort of life crisis sort of thing. So I haven't really been able to do anything. So I'm healing from whatever has happened. There's been a few sort of mental health issues, etc. And I'm finding myself very scattered and still not knowing what it is that I'm meant to be doing in my life. And I have vague ideas, but I'm not getting forward at all in that direction. So it would be lovely to clear as many blocks as we can today in that direction.
We can do that. Are you doing divine healing on yourself?
I've got a major block to doing any healings on myself, really. So it's really interesting. Like even to do the divine healing, I'm not doing it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sakina. Okay, who else would like to share their intention for today? You can stay on, Sakina. Be good to see you. Okay, Joel.
Hey, Nicholas. So I'm signed up for Divine Healing in a few weeks, so I'm super excited about that. But I'm going through a big transition in my life in a number of areas, one of them being career and moving into a career that's more based on healing and working with people in that capacity. But I'm still not clear exactly what that looks like. So that's what I was drawn to today. And I mean, I like being involved in this work whenever I can. So yeah, I'm just looking to get some more clarity in what my offering looks like.
Okay, you can do that. And where are you, Joel? Just tell. I want to share that with people.
Right. Yeah, I'm in Burnaby, British Columbia, Canada.
Okay, thank you. All right, who else wants to share? Margola, are you going to say something? Oh,
Hi, can you hear me?
yeah, you're loud and clear, dear.
Okay, because I can barely hear you guys, and I'm trying to figure out why.
Um,
And I don't have a clue why.
is the we'll check on the mute. There's a microphone bottom left. Click on audio settings. Okay. And
I'm glad you can see me because I can only see you, Nicholas. I can't see the rest of the group at the moment, and I don't know why either.
yeah,
So
we'll put that up
looking
now.
for- okay, what did I do? What did I forget?
So just
Okay, great.
get audio.
All right, I feel better. I went from losing my dad to COVID,
Okay.
and it was a very weird process. And with the way our city still is, everybody's been very isolated and very alienating and very much alone. I live on my own. My brother's in Israel, my sister's in New York. So it's been extremely isolating and has made me feel very insecure in a lot of ways because of that.
Yeah.
And trying to get out of my shell to start doing what I'm supposed to be doing, which is coaching the world, has been extremely difficult.
Okay.
So I really want to get over this and get going.
All right. See what we can do. Okay. Yeah, it's been a very challenging time for everybody. Okay. Who wants to go next? Maria, you were waving at me before.
Yes, hello, Nicolas. Hello, everybody. I think I would like to stay more focused on what I know I need to be doing, rather than bringing more and more tools into my bag and learning more, and also feeling more settled, because I'm in Scotland, but still looking for a new home, and I have no idea where to go next.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Why you wanted to move?
Because my home is freezing. It's lovely, Nicolas. It's the energy. It's heartbreaking because the energy is lovely. Everything is lovely. But last winter, I can't spend another winter here. There's no insulation, floor or walls.
Okay.
Affecting my hands. And actually, even listening to the replay of Divine Healing helped my hands. And my circulation is fine. It's karmic stuff. It's past lives.
Okay, understood.
Lots of healing going on here for me.
All right. Thank you, Maria. Okay, who else would like to share? Anyone else like to introduce themselves?
Yes, I'm Nancy. I'm located in the Chicagoland area.
Can't see you, Nancy.
Yeah, I have to drop off at 10:30 and rejoin around 11, and I'll turn my camera on then.
Okay.
But I read your book on,
Yeah.
the soul contract. I believe I started reading it because I was seeking my purpose in life. And I think that I understand my purpose. I think I've been working through the karmas and just trying to get more confirmation on my soul purpose versus my destiny, and awakening the gifts that I have. So just at the beginning part of my journey.
Okay. Well, you come to a good place. Thank you, Nancy.
Okay, I will be back.
Okay. You can listen to it on in the Zoom instructions. You can listen to it on your cell. If you just dial on the number, you can listen on audio if you take a break to go somewhere else.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Kayla said to me she's in Chicago and at work right now with headphones. That's why her camera's off. And I'm here because I hope to get a more clear understanding of anything to improve trusting my intuition, or just wanting to absorb anything to help grow spiritually. Also letting go and becoming free, or more aware of when the ego pops up. Thank you for having me with you here today. Okay, thanks, Kayla. Right, anyone else? Nina, are you brave enough to introduce yourself? You don't have to if you don't want.
Thank you, Nicolas. I'm calling from Switzerland, even though I'm Slovak, so I'm in a foreign country for a year due to COVID. But I wish to stay. But to stay means also to restart my career. And I had a very successful corporate career. Then I burned out and went to Himalayas to find my purpose. And I read your book, of course. and still, I know I'm very close, but on the other hand, the messages I'm getting is I'm in kind of denial to really accept what it is to serve, to contribute, to what's really my purpose. So I believe any kind of healing to move forward would help.
Okay, we'll see what we can do today. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, here we are. Anyone else on the chat who wants to introduce themselves? Okay. I'd like to introduce Charlotte Daniels. You want to wave, Charlotte, everybody? Charlotte is our training coordinator at the Centre for Conscious Ascension, plus she's a divine healing practitioner. So maybe you just want to introduce yourself, Charlotte, how you came on this journey briefly, so the guys can connect with you.
Hi, everybody. I've met some of you via email, so it's nice to see you. So as Nicolas said, I'm a divine healing practitioner. And how did I come on the journey? My story is very similar to most of you, to Nina, to Sakina. I was a primary school teacher and I burnt out. And I couldn't do it anymore. And I had no idea what I was going to do. None whatsoever. I just quit. And like Nina, I ran off to a yoga school. And then I found Nicolas's book. And the rest is history. And here I am with all of you.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Charlotte. Okay. Let's get into it then. So, Charlotte, if you could just watch the attendees and bring anyone else in, because some people come quite later, depending on, especially from North America, because they're working or they're trying to get on a break or something to come and join us. Okay, let's share the screen. Right. How can we help the world? So let me talk about divine healing a little bit, what that's about. Almira Ariel Hilaire, who used to run the Centre for Conscious Ascension with me, we were looking for a really powerful healing tool to clear our own separation, because we had some pretty serious self-contract issues to work through. We spent a lot of time searching for it. And in the end, she realized she had to develop her own way. And with a couple of friends, she channeled through divine healing in 2006. And it's been developed ever since from there. And essentially, it's a multidimensional system of healing that comes from source. Its purpose is to open to grace. And it comes from many different bodies of knowledge and beings in the high dimensions, which is unusual. It comes from multiple sources. And the whole idea is to help us get back in consciousness to source, to peel our ego onion created by our soul contract, for those of you familiar with it. To peel this onion so we get down to the pure love that we are, the pure essence, and then we free ourselves from the challenges and suffering, the karma of our ego onion. That's what it's for. And to do it as gracefully as possible, simply, quickly, as possible, so we can reconnect to spiritual levels. So we become self-empowered rather than be at the mercy of our ego programming, and get pretty conscious. We call it keys to enlightenment. If you did this rigorously, perhaps you could get enlightened, but you can get pretty conscious from my own experience of it. When I learned this, I would do it for every day for 2 or 3 years after I learned it, and my life completely changed, because it was pretty miserable because I had a very heavy soul contract to deal with. So, and part of my journey is to go from being completely emotionally traumatized and numbed out and feeling nothing for most of my life to actually teaching a deep emotional healing workshop. So God, she's having a bit of a laugh. So I've had to learn how to do this by working on myself. Otherwise, I couldn't teach this. So what does it actually do? It enabled me to make my life happen, and I transformed some deep, fundamental underlying programming that seemed to be set in concrete, but it really did shift stuff. And can make your dreams come true. That's happening. I wanted to have a global teaching business to reach as many people as possible to wake them up. That's why I was born, and this is starting to happen. After 25 years of doing this or more. And it allowed my vision to come into being and to really heal deeply, connect to my soul essence, and deliver the gifts and qualities that my soul is bringing to the world. And yeah, starting to feel a bit more love, a bit more joy, and self-worth and self-esteem. That's my big ones here. And becoming the master of my life, being in charge of my life so I can deliver my gift of service to the world, which is starting to happen. So I've been peeling this onion pretty rigorously for 15, 16 years using the system, and it does work. It's really enabled me to get much more connected to the flame of consciousness. And when you peel enough of the onion, you can actually, life really starts to change, because the energy of the soul starts to come through a much cleaner ego to manifest what you're here to really do. It takes time and patience. There's no quick fix here. You've got to work on yourself. So what we're actually going to do here, what we're doing with divine healing is this. I'm just going to find my pen. We are going to delve into the mud of life, all of your programs, all the dark stuff your ego wishes to ignore because it's just too painful to feel it. And we're going to bring consciousness to it and transform it into lotuses, into beautiful gifts of service. Because we use a Buddhist model of oneness where we see all as one, and these are just different states of being. We move from a place of separation from ourselves, from God, into these beautiful gifts, lotuses where we are connected to higher consciousness. So you might be wondering, well, how did I get here? Why do I have to do all this stuff? I used to wonder that for a very long time when I was a teenager. Well, here's what actually happened. Source, or that is God, whatever you want to call it. I won't say it was it or he or she was bored, but it wanted to know itself more. So what it did is it expanded its consciousness and dropped it from the 12th dimension, which is a high level of vibration, through the dimensions and gradually densified itself till it got to the point where it embodied, it created a physical body, and a spark of it is in each of us, our soul. And we actually forgot who we were. So we were born here, popped into this dimension, feeling this is all there is initially. And so our journey is to burn through the ego construct created by our subcontract. This is what divine healing is designed to do, to open a pathway back to source. Okay? Because when we can bring the love, knowledge, and power of source through us, then we can deliver our gift of service, because it doesn't come from this reality. This reality is like a three-dimensional projection screen of high frequencies, high consciousness. So when you connect to source, or even the higher self, even the here in the fifth dimension, then you can bring this through, then life can start to happen. But the key is to clear the ego, which is where divine healing comes in. Then your life can really happen. So what happens when we're born here, when you popped out from that lovely warm womb space from your mum, is that when we're born into the world, we feel three things, the three primary separation programs. We feel God just abandoned us, spat us out onto this third rock from the sun, can't get home, we have a problem, Houston. We feel unworthy to be loved by God because it feels like our ego feels we've been rejected. We're not good enough to be with God in heaven or source, so we were dumped here. And then we don't trust God either because God betrayed us, sent us here. But just so you know, you're all volunteered. So even though it may not feel like a good idea now that you're here, but that's actually what happened. You volunteered here to serve to work through your life karmic lessons so you could actually deliver your gift of service to the world. And the purpose of this work is to help you do that. So what happens? We wake up here, we grow up, we've got all these main low frequency ego strategies and programs in us. What does our ego do? Most people, 98%, will avoid feeling their pain. So you have all the addictions of society, TV, chemical addiction, drugs, all sorts of stuff, distraction, so we don't feel our pain. And as we wake up, we are aware there's some major programs. So we judge it, we feel bad about it, which makes our program stronger. And our approach with divine healing is a little different in that we want to go and feel the programs and resonate and own them. We turn into the programs. We bring feeling consciousness to it. We get a sense of where they came from. And once you do that, then you're bringing consciousness to them, and then the programs can start to transform, and you can have less challenging stuff in your life. Wrong button. So how do we do that? How do we bring consciousness to our programs? What we do is first, we need to have the willingness, desire, and courage to feel our programs. Let's change my color here. Yeah, to feel these programs. So we bring our consciousness into the program and we spread our feeling consciousness into it. Because if we can feel it, we can heal it. Okay, so this is bringing consciousness to the ego's low self-esteem, doubt, feelings of not being good enough. And the ego will do its very best to stop you feeling anything, because if you feel it and heal it, then it's lost control of keeping you separate from God. That's why we have an ego. Because if you woke up here and had a feeling, I am God, I just came for a visit, we wouldn't do anything because we know we're fine. We're perfect exactly as we are. But we go to sleep initially. And the way we go to sleep is that the ego puts all of this turquoisey emotional ice around our programs. So we numb out, because if you can't feel the program, the ego is trying to hold the programs in place. So you can't feel it, therefore you can't heal it. And so we get stuck. We stay in a loop in life. So what we're doing with divine healing is that we are breaking through ego's defenses gracefully. And in the training we run, which we run on Zoom in 4 days, we, as a group, support each other as a group consciousness to break through our programs gently. And we bring our feeling consciousness in there, and therefore we can clear them, and grace descends and life gets a little easier, flows a bit more. If we keep doing that on a regular basis, we'll gradually dismantle the entire ego and your life will transform. Because what happens initially is we have our higher self, which is permanent. It's in the higher dimensions, that's on the 5th, 6th dimensions and higher. It is a God self, a higher emotional body, and a non-linear mind. This is permanent, and it creates us temporarily each time we incarnate. With these energy bodies, we have a mental body, emotional, and physical body, and other energy bodies, filled with all this emotional separation, which disconnects us from the higher self in consciousness. And we have this little blue line called an antakarana. Basically, it brings consciousness and life force that keeps us alive. We need more than water and food and air. So this is very narrow initially, so we have a very limited connection to higher self. So we're sort of stuck here feeling it's all happening outside us, and we're sort of, there's no way back to God, even though we have that feeling there's something special we need to find, which is, how do I get back connected to God so I can bring my gift of service from the higher self into this lifetime? So if we heal ourselves, so with divine healing, or whatever other tools you have, what happens then is this. The antakarana goes bigger. More love comes through, unconditional love. This is the violet here. We start to feel better because our programs are dismantling. More love comes in, the more programs dismantle as we do our healing on ourselves. So life gets a bit easier. More flow comes because more of high consciousness is coming in us. And then here, we keep going, this gets wider and wider, life gets easier, to the point that if you completely dissolve the ego, you've got this massive amount of consciousness from the higher self coming in. And we're flowing in the moment with the higher self, and it's coming out in the world and manifesting a completely different life. Because the ego programs that we've been carrying, which are described in the soul contract, are no longer anywhere near as strong because we've dissolved them. So what happens then is that you start to become a living, walking, talking expression of the higher self's will, and your spiritual gift really starts to deliver. It starts up here already gradually. But once you get to this stage, it's very powerful, and you just surrendered to the flow of spirit. And if you go with that flow, life just magically unfolds. Sound good? Yeah, it's doable. So what's happened is that the ego has surrendered, it's let go, holding on to its positionalities. It's only a tool to keep us separate from God. So it surrenders, and then it becomes a servant for the Atmic, Buddhic, and nonlinear bodies and nonlinear mind. Okay, it becomes a servant for higher consciousness. And this love comes through here fully because the ego is clear, and your gift of service and life does unfold. But you've got to clear your ego first. So the most important thing for your mission, a lot of you talk about your mission, is to clear the ego above all things. Plus, start or continue to run and develop your spiritual business in parallel. There's two tracks: your internal journey and your external journey. It's important to do both at the same time, because if you waited till you're completely clear, you'd be dusty and 70 and nothing's happened. So it's important to develop your spiritual business with what you've got, because you are where you are for a reason. It's not an accident. The soul's got you in the perfect place, even though it may feel very uncomfortable at times, especially if you're transitioning from corporate to this alternative world we're in. I did that about 25 years ago, and it was a journey. It was a roller coaster. I had to make a massive adaptation to learning how to create and run a business. But the journey of your internal healing journey, so with divine healing, and your external journey of creating a business, they feed each other. And the growth process is enormous. It's like a massive ongoing workshop. So you just got to do your best with your personal clearing and with your external business that you're working with. Okay. So what you're really doing is this. I'm just going to have a little drink here. What you're doing is you're moving from the linear left brain, for those of you who've been in corporate, which you're following the Western scientific and business processes and methods, which only creates pain for everyone involved, the path of suffering. And you're letting go and using divine healing to dissolve the ego, moving more to the right brain, feminine flow, or following what opens your heart the most in each moment, called the spiritual signature, which is a completely different path. It's a solid line. And what we do is, once we're aware of this, we learn to follow our heart and let go of the control and restrictions of the mind, is that we gradually converge. And we spend more and more time following the signature, and our life unfolds, our business unfolds, because you are exactly where you need to be, and there is a plan. But if you only open to it and respond to it, follow the flow of that plan, then your businesses and your lives will unfold in the most graceful way. And as you move away from the grip the ego has on you, life will gradually get easier. I'm not saying it won't be challenging, but it's a lot better than staying stuck in the path of suffering, where most people stay for their entire lives. And it's pretty miserable. But it will also allow you to deliver your gift of service to the world, which is the most satisfying thing for a light worker to be able to do. Okay. So we're going to get on and experience divine healing in a little while. I just want to give you some structure of what we're doing here. So all these emotional blockages we carry, they steal our life force, they block it. So ego has to hold them in place to stop us awakening, to stop us reconnecting to God. So we have diminished life force, low energy, pain, stuff doesn't happen the way we want in life. So what we're doing with divine healing is that we are dissolving these blockages by bringing consciousness to them, which then frees up life force, and our life gets easier. The more life force you have, the more you can manifest the good stuff. Okay. Any questions on that so far from anybody before we get to the next stage? A direct experience of this, either in the chat or voice or on the video. No, everyone's okay? All right, so I want you to take your shoes off and put your feet flat on the ground to ground. And we're going, I've opened up the divine healing space. The energy is already set before we started. You may feel some strong sensations, okay, when we do this. So we're going to start doing a sequence of divine healing so that you can start to manifest your gift of service. So I want you to breathe through your mouths, because that's how we stay in the body. If you breathe through the nose, it stays in the mind, which is not much use to us. And have your eyes closed, because the mental body comes out the eyes. We need to shut this guy down, because it's actually the biggest barrier for you to manifest your gift of service. Okay. So I want you to focus on your gift of service as much as you're aware of it. If you're not clear what it is, focus your intent on it as a general concept, because intention is everything in life. Okay. And breathing through the mouth, breathe deep into the lungs. Okay. Just focus on that, because what we're going to do is that we're going to focus you're going to focus yourselves on where you want to go as best as you know at this stage of your growth. And that's going to trigger a whole bunch of ego programs, because they're going to say, oh no, you can't do this. And so what we're going to do is flush these programs out, and then we're ambushing them effectively, because ego will try and stop you doing this, because it's a job. We're going to clear a whole bunch of them by focusing on where you want to go, rather than focusing on everything that's not working, because if we do that, we just get lots more of the same thing. But we're going to focus on what we want to manifest. And I'm going to clear a whole bunch of energy interference, which sits in the astral plane. It was that big red line we had. I'm going to clear a whole bunch of energy interference, which is blocking your connection to higher consciousness. And they're not too happy about what we're doing here. Okay. So I'm going to do this silently, but I want you to be aware of what's happening in your body. You may feel your body twitch or move, or you might want to burp or whatever, or shake. It's okay to do that, because the interference has to come out, because this interference is actually holding you in the current state you're in. Some of you said you're a bit stuck. This is what's doing it. So we're going to release Earthbound Souls first. These are the beings who have left the physical body but have not left the earth plane, up the tunnel of light to the astral plane. And they're hanging out with you because you have a similar issue that their host body had, personality had, when they were actually embodied. So here we go. So we're done quietly. Keeping breathing through your mouth. So feel the energy shift. So these guys are leaving, they can leave from any part of your body, and just relax into it, okay? Feel the shift and thank them for the help. Thank the angels who have helped us with this, for their assistance with us. And now we're going to go to the next category of beings, which are extraterrestrial consciousness. Not going to be worried about. And they're just very curious. They're vibrating at a higher level. And you can't say you won't be able to see them, but you may be aware of them. They're very interested in the vast range of human emotions that we have on Earth. They like to understand, how do we work? But they're actually interfering with us sometimes as a result of just observing us. So I'm going to clear them out now. Feel the energy shift from that. Now we're going to release what we call Discarnate Entities and Attachments. For those of you who've seen the movie Ghostbusters, it looks like some of those globby green guys. Okay, nothing to be worried about there either. And they're hanging out with you because your programming or your ego programming is energy food for them. So we're going to remove them as well. All of them make you quite tired. So you should release a bit of energy. And they're triggering you to stay in the negative emotions so they can feed off them. So we're going to clear them now. So we send them to the high dimensions now. Feel the shift. Just making sure they don't come back now. Okay. All right. So just open your eyes. Just feel how you are now. How does your system feel now? Anyone want to share how they feel? We're having a little break to integrate this, then we're going to do the next chart. Okay, Sakina?
Yes, I had a lot of shaking, like I usually feel the things coming out.
Yeah.
But now I'm just feeling so light, like there's a lot of energy coming from my hands, and yeah, it's still moving, but yeah, definitely a huge release.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of these interferences have been slowing you down and trying to stop you. So
Yeah.
anyone else want to share how that was, or put it on the chat? Maria?
Somehow I'm seeing more clearly when I open my eyes.
Good. Good. All right. Anybody else? Nina?
I have a feeling that everything slowed down.
Yeah.
But enormously.
Yeah.
Is that normal?
Well, we're in a high dimensional space when we do this. So your sense of time is going to change.
Okay.
Space and time are one and the same thing, you see, it's not separate. So we're on a high dimensional energy when we do this. Yeah. Time is more a perception than anything else. Okay. Paige. You have to unmute, Paige. Bottom left.
Sorry.
Just clear now. Go for it.
Is it normal for me? A lot of times I'll get electrical interference. Like I got cut off from this meeting in the very beginning, and yeah. I just felt like something was trying to not let me get this today.
Yeah, well, this is very interference we're working on. That's why I clear it first. Because
okay.
it doesn't, its job is to stop you from awakening, to stop you from growing, stop you from getting on your mission. Okay, because if it wasn't there, then we wouldn't feel separate from God, and we didn't feel separate from God, we wouldn't seek to go home. We'd just sit there quite happy, which is actually what used to happen when there were incarnate souls. They hadn't figured out the hierarchy, spiritual hierarchy hadn't figured out, okay, you need to have a veil, so they go to sleep. Because if they don't go to sleep, they don't do anything. Nothing happened. No one grew. But when we have a disconnect, a barrier, and we are stress, and then we tend to grow because we seek to break through that stress to get home to God. Yeah, so don't take it as something's gone wrong. Take it, okay, this is a challenge. I just got to work through this layer. If you keep at it, eventually you will break through. Yeah. Anyone else? want to share? No? Okay. Next stage is that I want you to close your eyes and focus on that gift of service again. And what we're going to do is we're going to clear some of the what we call main low frequency programs that come up. You go to stop us doing that. So again, we're going to ambush the programs in the ego. And I want you just to be present with whatever emotion comes up, even if you can't put words to it, just breathe into it through your mouth. That's all you need to do. So it's quite simple, really, divine healing. Bring feeling, breathing consciousness to it. Breathing through the mouth is really important. The ego will want to try and close your mouth because it doesn't want you to feel. It's the worst thing that can ever happen as far as the ego is concerned. Feel that program. Could be unworthiness, could be fear, could be a feeling of abandonment, could be anything. I just want you to breathe deeply into that program. Become aware of where that program comes from. It might be just from when you were a kid. Could have happened yesterday. Could be from a past life. Could be from another dimension. You don't have to work it out, just get a sense, just open to your higher self showing you where that program comes from. When we know where something comes from, we can target it more deeply. So you're sort of open to all aspects of the feeling, even if it's unpleasant. A lot of them are unpleasant. It's going to be brief. The ego doesn't like this. So you got to use your willpower, focus. And breathe into it and expand your consciousness as far as you can into the program. Become aware of any of the ego's attachment to holding on to that program. It's very much attached to suffering the ego. Become aware of any feelings of being bad for having the program. When we feel bad, it locks the program in more. I must be bad for having my unworthiness. You know, I've reached a stage of life and I should have got it done by now. That's what I used to have a lot of the time. Become aware of any judgment around it. And the more you can open to it, the judgment especially locks things in. It's a bad program. I should be more evolved. I've done all these years of light work and I haven't sorted this one out. The more you can open to it, the more it can integrate and heal. Breathe into a little bit more, then we can do a command code, which is going to clear that program. And I'll read it out to you. And then you repeat it after me in a minute. Okay, we're going to do the command code in bite-sized chunks. If you want to look at it, it's on the screen here. But you can keep your eyes closed and I'll read slowly. So breathing into that program through your mouth, repeat after me. We are Saint Germain to pour the purple flame through the aura and subtle bodies to burn away all low frequency energies that we have discovered so that new higher level vibrations can be accessed. So we're commanding Saint Germain. Remember, you're a spark of the divine. You are God commanding something to happen. The more you can believe it, the deeper the power of the command code. Next we say, so Saint Germain's an ascended master who's the keeper of the violet flame. So we say, Saint Germain and higher self, please burn out in one go. 100% the core issue through all levels and dimensions. And just pause there. Let each line activate and actually occur within your energy system. Keep breathing as you do it through your mouth. Next one, 100% the original cause through all levels and dimensions. And again, pause. You got to mean it as well when you do it. 100% the source of its power through all levels and dimensions. One 100% all energy attached through all levels and dimensions. One 100% all of its effects through all levels and dimensions. Let that happen. And express gratitude, which opens the connection to source. We just say thank you. Feel the shift. You can open your eyes now. Just have a little time to integrate. So who would like to share how that was? Just wait. We have a bit, so you got a bit of time to integrate before we do the next chart. Anyone want to share that on the chat or just talking to me there? Charlotte, how was that for you?
I had a lot of burping. I came from like deep down in my tummy, and I was yawning a lot. So yeah, it was really good. It was really strong.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else want to share? Okay, Sakina.
Yeah, I sensed there was more than one program coming up to be released.
Yeah.
So I just allowed all of them that needed to. I'm feeling very, very cold now, but it's a good cold because, yeah, it just means that something's happening.
Yeah, the cold is there's the thing, a high dimensional flame called the flame of lover's purifier. It's coming up to your subatomics to burn through the programs from your higher self. Okay, because you set your intent of connecting to your gift of service, so the higher self's going to come and assist you, but this is the free will zone, so you got to want to do it. If you don't want to do it, nothing is ever going to happen. So you got to want to do it. Have the desire to heal. That's the key, the desire to get back to God and consciousness. Okay. Anybody else on the chat or live? Joel?
Yeah, so I saw myself as a child going to another dimension and getting this program of isolation. And I just saw it burning up in the flame as we were doing it.
Yep. Another one bites the dust program-wise. Good. Anyone else? No? Okay. So a lot of what we're dealing with is from past lives. Unresolved past issues which we are carrying on behalf of our soul, because our soul has many lifetimes, but with different personalities. So we as personalities have never existed before. The soul has with many other personality expressions. So what we're doing is that we have volunteered at a personality level to clear them on behalf of the soul. Like Kim said, feeling sadness. Yeah, got that. Thanks, Kim. So I want you to close your eyes and focus on your gift of service as much as you're aware of it, with the intention of connecting to any past life programming which is stopping you from manifesting your gift of service. I reckon 70–80% of what we deal with in each lifetime is from these past lives. And I'm going to find the past life chart on the Divine Healing 1 manual, which is what I've been showing you here. And we're going to clear whatever's come up. Okay. You may feel lines of energy going into what we call the space-time continuum behind you. You may sense the presence of other lifetimes. Okay. Don't necessarily need to, but that's what may happen. You may sense the files, the past life files, open new fields, and some strange stuff's going on. It feels a bit weird. Okay. Again, it's about intention. Just be present with whatever comes up. Focusing on your gift of service as much as you're aware of it. Breathing through your mouth. You might have multiple ones. You might have 2 or 3 similar themes. Just bring as much consciousness to them as you can. You may see pictures, you may be aware of a feeling, you may be other people in there. Just be aware of what's coming up. Just bring as much consciousness to as many of those lives as possible that are relevant, that are blocking the manifestation of gift of service, preventing you from trusting in the flow, preventing you from feeling more worthy of the flow of God's energies, abundance. And then open your eyes, and we're going to do the next command code here. But stay with the feeling that's come up around those past lives. So we're going to actually use what's called a past life death chart with a slight adjustment. We're not going to say deaths, we're just going to say traumatic lifetimes here. Okay, so we're going to say this in bite-sized chunks. So you've got to say it as if you mean it. This is a command code. If you don't mean it, it's not going to happen. But if you do mean it, it will happen. Remember, you're in command here. It's a free will zone. So repeat after me in bite-sized chunks. Higher self, please clear, heal, and integrate all these files and memories, including all cellular memories, the DNA, and the subatomic levels. I'm now ready to heal all traumatic lifetimes, blocking the manifestation of my gift of service. At all levels and dimensions, all time frames, realities, and universes. And then we pause. I command that any soul fragments held with these memories and are returned to me fully whole and intact as appropriate. I welcome these soul fragments back. And again, pause. Let's each section of a command code integrate. You don't want to pile them on top of each other, otherwise it doesn't work properly. I command that the whole holographic matrix be repaired through all layers and levels, and then brought into full alignment integration and balance to allow for wholeness to emerge. Thank you. And embrace the shift. Okay, let that clear out. Okay, so a little sharing in the chat or just switch your mic on, just so you got a bit of time to integrate before we do the next chart. I'd like to share Maria.
I really felt very emotional, Nicolas, because I could see somebody, because I'm writing a book, and I could see somebody in the past life literally holding my book and tearing it into pieces in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't even scream because I was all blocked.
Yeah.
I like started crying. It was very powerful. Don't think I made it up because I've got some emotion.
Yeah, well, cellular memory of the past life stuff's coming out of you, the files are coming out of you. Thank you, Maria. Anyone else want to share how that past life clearing was? No? Okay, we're gonna, after that deep clearing, we're gonna do a nutrition chart to integrate, because when we dismantle the ego, we need to do it with grace and ease. That's what we do in divine healing. We don't just destabilize you. So we open up the system and clear a bunch of stuff out, then we integrate the system so you can continue with life, but you're feeling a lot clearer. So we can use energetic nutrition, and that's going to send a pure frequency into your system. And you choose which frequency you need to use here. Okay. So let's go and find it. Nutrition chart. So there are 26 charts in the Divine Healing Manual. We're using a few of them. Here we go. This is energetic nutrition. So we're going to use amino acids or essential fatty acids, just the pure frequency, okay, of them, because that is the physical form of a frequency, or minerals or vitamins, okay? That's what we're going to use, okay? All right, so I'm going to scroll down this page slowly, and then one of these will jump out at you in here, and just note it down, or just remember it if you can, and that'll be the one your higher self's going to guide you. So this is the first page. So if any of those jump out at you, just note that. I can put these the second page as well, okay? You don't have to understand what they do. All right. I'll go to the second page, see if one of these resonates with you. I got vitamin B3, it jumped out at me. Sometimes it may look like it jumps off the page at you. That's your higher self trying to get your attention. Okay. I'll go back to the first one now, just in case you need to look at that again. All right. Okay, so now we're going to do this command code at the top. This one here. We're going to encode this nutrient. So actually, we'll switch on. Everyone, switch your microphones on now. So I was just trying it without the microphone before. So we can hear each other. Even the guys who haven't got the video on, if you can switch your microphones on, that'll be great. Okay. Repeat after me. Higher self.
Higher self.
Please encode this nutrient
Please
in the perfect balance that is required, and clear and align all pathways for maximum assimilation, absorption, and utilization. Okay, close your eyes, just feel the shift that's going to come into your system. Often it comes down from the higher self down to the crown and spreads out through your system. Normally just calms things down, integrates them if you felt a bit jangled from the 3 previous charts. But you'll be in a new state of being. Okay, you can open your eyes now. Should we sort of be gradually calming down now? Anyone want to share how that was, the nutritional integration? Nina?
I feel recharged now.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Because what happens is that as you release all the programs, the energy, the life force that have been holding the programs is freed up. So it's used for something more constructive. That's why we get more energized, the more clearer we get. It takes an awful lot of energy to hold these programs in place. Anyone else want to share how they feel? Maria?
You're warm. I actually felt warmth coming over me.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Sukina?
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot more grounded,
Yeah.
and there's been a huge blockage in my throat that's clearing out, so I can actually express myself again.
Okay, good. Paige, how was that for you?
It was great. I felt like a warm shower. Just I visualized white light when I felt it coming in right before you said it might come in through here.
Yeah.
It just felt really warm and like a big blanket.
Okay, good. Joel, how was that?
I did the same thing as Paige, but when you said it, yeah, it was good. I haven't done that before, actually.
Yeah.
It felt really good.
Good.
Mm.
All right. Joel, how was that?
Yeah, I would say it feels a lot like a lot of people describing, like a warm shower, just filling my system, settling it. I think I'm still integrating a lot here. I'm feeling pretty spacey still.
Yeah, it takes a little while. Make sure you stay grounded, go for a walk in the garden or eat something afterwards. Okay. All right, any questions from the process? That's sort of the end of the demo part, to give you an energy experience of it. Put the questions in the chat or just ask me. Not so curious. Experience was enough. Okay. All right. I will show you share a little structure of what divine healing is in terms of the manual here, which you've been seeing parts of. So divine healing is taught on Zoom over 4 days, 12:30 to 8:30 UK time. It's 7:30 to 3:30, 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Eastern time in America. We do it in about 4 1.5 hour slots over each day. It's about empowering yourself. And it's made up of 26 charts that were channeled through to Almira, Shakira, and Shakira, and Mary, colleagues of ours. And it came together over about a period of a year. And Almira started teaching her version of it, started teaching it in 2006. With 26 charts, and basically they cover everything from connecting to angel frequencies, working on your chakras, rehydrating, fears and phobias, how you disconnect from God here, hidden subconscious ego agendas, things that sabotage us a lot, judgments and beliefs we carry. We just did the interference chart at the beginning. Key psychological conflicts, which is the biggest chart of all. Male frequency programs, you did that. We did nutrition, and you did past lives. We deal with sabotages, yin-yang polarity balancing. So basically we spend 4 days as a group going through all these charts by following the spiritual signature, following the flow of the group consciousness that's guiding us. So you get a massive healing. It's a healing intensive over 4 days. Plus you learn how to work on others and yourself. So if you're a therapist or thinking of becoming one, it's very good for that. So, and the way we teach it is that we explain what each chart means. And if it's a relatively straightforward chart, we just do the whole chart as a group. We just do it as a group experience. But if it's a more complex one, I'll demonstrate on one person and then explain the theory, demonstrate on one person, and then you give and receive treatments of that chart in a Zoom breakout room where you have virtual privacy, just the two of you. Okay. And so that's what we do for 4 days. You go through this massive healing process and you come out usually pretty transformed as you've given it everything you've got. So it's a very strong process. And then you have a tool to peel that ego onion and to come into more self-worth, more self-esteem, and so you can open your consciousness to the higher self, so you can start to deliver more of the gift of your service. And so this is what the first level does. It was one of the most profound things I did when I learned this, in terms of the shift it made in my life. So, talk about a bit more about this. So, we run it 3 times a year. And if you're interested, it comes, the next one's 17th to 20th of June. These are the times I just said. 4:30 Pacific, but it's better than flying 1:30 in Europe. And the deposit's £175. Full fees £520. That includes the deposit. So it's equivalent to about 6 hours of private sessions. Okay, so Charlotte does our private sessions at the Centre for Conscious Ascension. So if you wanted just to try it out, she charges £125 for an hour and a half. So you can find out about private sessions at freeupyourlifewithdivinehealing.com. Hopefully easy enough to remember. And if you're interested in finding out more about the training, it's the divinehealingtraining.com. And you can see your entire life change. Most people change quite radically. So, any questions about that from anybody on the chat, or you can just switch your mic on if you want. All very quiet. How are people feeling after all that, Charlotte?
Sorry, I was going to, maybe I could talk about my experience of Divine Healing Level 1.
Yeah.
Of the 4 days. So for me, it was absolutely incredible. My reason for joining was because I was having negative experiences with interference. And after level 1, the difference in my reality in terms of what was coming into my life just completely stopped. And as I've gone through the levels, it's got even more. I don't have negative experiences with spirits anymore. And I was also going through quite a tough dark night of the soul, and the training has cleared it completely. So I haven't had any of the depression that I used to suffer. I don't get as tired. I don't have, my down days are like a down 1 hour, as before would be a down 5-6 days, maybe even a couple of weeks. So on a personal level, it's been incredible, but even physically, my body is different in that, you know, it's hard to say, but for example, I sleep better. I used to have a weak bladder. That has gone. I don't have a weak bladder anymore. I used to have skin issues. That's all gone. And the epilepsy as well, because I have epilepsy, the difference in that is incredible. So if you're thinking of doing it, please join, because it's amazing.
Okay, thanks, Charlotte. Anyone, Maria?
Quick question, Nicolas. So do you recommend doing a private divine healing first before the training?
Only if you feel drawn to it. We offer that because some people want to try it out in the first session to see how they find it. I mean, I can do quite a bit in a webinar, but if people want to have a direct focus session, Charlotte is very good at this. She can help you. But some people jump straight into the training. It's just a matter of what you feel drawn to. Some people watch the videos a lot and get a lot of healing from that, and they realize, oh, I got to have a real session because I need someone to hold the space, or I want to come on the training. It's whatever you're drawn to. That's the way we do it. it's an invitation, and we do it out of love and service, this work. It's, all the light workers asked for a tool to get home, and God provided this one big time. So
Thank you. Yes.
any other questions? Someone else said something here to me here. Okay, Kim has said, I was able to read the command code, still no sound. Funny, because I've been having doubts the last 2 days about doing this work with others, helping them discover their truths because of the fear of how they may receive their truths. If they don't like what comes up, blame the messenger, even though it is a hazard of being a healer. Though I've had great feedback. Decoded a few soul contracts for others. They have gone on and on about how it has helped them. Had this doubt energy, feels spiritual, past life stuff. You can repeat the video later when I send you guys a recording. Could be childhood trauma too. We clear trauma in level 1 and fears, we clear that as well. Sorry, problem with audio has not happened before, but do so many webinars. Yeah, well, that could be interference as well. Might have messed with it, Kim. So thanks for that feedback. Anybody else want to share, or any good questions for me? Sakina.
Yeah, I just probably just wanted to add that thank you so much for this. I'm feeling so much more connected to divine healing because I was using it a lot when I had first done the training. And hopefully now this will give me the momentum to just pick up the manual and do the self-healing. And you said you were doing it like regularly every day for yourself?
I did for the first few years, but for the first 2 or 3 years, I did it every day because I realized how much programming I had to clear, and it made a massive difference. Okay, that's what I was determined though, being sorted. So
Yeah,
if you do a little bit each day, that'll be great to keep momentum going.
yeah, I think I'm gonna make that like a priority and do that. So yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, Paige.
Can you, I know it probably differs, but this integration, you know, what I'm feeling from today's, does that last a certain amount of time?
It might go on for a few minutes or a few hours. It just depends on what your higher self decided it wanted to do. It's different for each person.
Okay, I was just wondering because I definitely feel how I feel after sessions. I just feel a little floating away.
Yeah.
So I just didn't know if that was normal and how long that kind of lasts. But
probably want to ground, hug a tree, or walk on the earth, and maybe have a bit of food, because it's very altering, this work. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? No. Okay. Right. So thanks for coming and engaging. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll get the video out to you. And be aware the video is just as strong as it was live. So you don't want to be doing it driving or listening to it when you're driving or anything like that. It's very strong. Some people get very powerful healing off it as well. So it's set up that way, the energy transmission. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.